Hello again, and welcome to Kyoto, my personal favourite city in all of Japan, and I hope by the end of this episode I can effectively show and explain why. But firstly, we decided to stop by one of my favourite sushi restaurants in Kyoto, which just happens to be inside the station itself. Unlike Australian train stations, where the idea of getting food is basically paying $10 for a bag of chips at a broken vending machine, Japan, as usual, has taken it to the next level. The restaurants here are cheap, accessible, and great in quality. I guess it would be unfair to compare this to Australia's beloved vending machines, since Kyoto Station sees almost 250,000 commuters every day, whereas Flinders Street Station only sees 75,000. So the need for places like these is definitely more prevalent in busier stations. Alright, we've arrived in Kyoto, easily my favourite city in all of Tokyo just because of its rich history and deep roots with Japanese culture. And as you can see here, there's nothing more obvious of that than Kyoto rooms. We've got traditional sitting down on the floor technique.
Which you can't get your legs through.
Yeah, especially if you're 4 foot. That's all you.
Fresh, very fresh.
Very. We're going towards the Kyoto Tower.
Going up it?
It's just so calm. Like, it's huge contrast between Osaka / Tokyo and Kyoto. Even though this is right next to Osaka.
Yeah, 10-minute train.
It's just... Oh, wait, look.
Yeah, that's where we're going.
Okay.
As is tradition whenever I arrive in a city, we went to the best place in all of Kyoto to see the city landscape, right from the very top of Kyoto Tower. I guess now would be a good time to introduce the city then. Kyoto is Japan's third largest city and was also its former capital city until it got moved to Tokyo in 1868. Also, quick fact, the word Kyoto literally means capital, and Tokyo means Eastern capital. This city was the cultural hub of Japan for 1,000 years, with some shrines here dating all the way back to the 10th century. Unlike Tokyo, Kyoto was spared from a lot of the bombings from World War II, hence why the city is still sprawling with temples and shrines that date hundreds of years. Now, there are many reasons why I love the city. Personally, I love history. Greek, Roman, Egyptian, you name it, I love it. And Kyoto, for this reason, I love it because it feels like I'm stepping into a time machine. There are also over 1,650 temples and over 1,000 shrines in Kyoto. So if you're a fan of old buildings and wooden architecture, then you'll statistically never get bored of Kyoto for a couple of years at least.
So we are going to
Nishiki
Market.
And what's Nishiki Market famous for, mate? Yeah, actually I don't know either.
Just street food, basically. Let's cut this thing.
First location to visit as a group was Nishiki Market, which houses 100 shops and restaurants. It first opened in 1310, so it's a little older than Queen Vic Market. A lot of these shops were passed down by generation to generation, so this market in itself is also a piece of history.
There's a way, kind of peace now, face reality, never be charity. The enemy, your buddy, covers all society. Damn right, mommy's not here, gonna fight all night. Right here, shadow 10 o'clock direction. Seize the moment, destroy the nation.
Good. I love raw salmon. It's slightly smoked.
Good too.
Sheep amaloki.
Yeah, I think it's dead. That's good.
If you're wondering why Dom is wearing a mask, it's because he kissed a lot of Japanese guys the other night. It's as a sign of impurity in Japan, you wear a black mask.
I can breathe lips. What am I saying?
いらっしゃいませ。はい、ありがとうございます。
Kobe beef. 1,300 yen Kobe beef.
It's like what, $16?
$16, but we paid 300 Aussie dollars the other night.
500 yen off.
Can I get some?
Yeah,
I'm
you're
getting
gonna buy for
$16. Here's $16.
本当に今。
Yeah, good. What you're seeing here is a robotic shishi collecting our fortune. Shishi are Chinese guardian lions in Buddhism and protect holy buildings from harmful spirits. Boxes like these, Karakuri Ningyo, only have 10 of them existing in the world at the moment.
The flower is sunflower. It means means be loved. So this is Violet, right? So my fortune is really good. Yeah. Right? You're gonna lead your life high spirits, business stays all good, right? Yeah. And I went to the as like your high spirits and be overjoyed, do your best in studies, think of yourself first. He or she is illegally waiting for you. You'll be hated, you approach passionately, be kind, don't be too late, take care of yourself, you get over illness, help each other, business, but look at speculation. This is me. Getting a job, be alert and you'll get a good one. Studies, it'll be hard to pass the exam if you are too easygoing. It's actually kind of true, not gonna lie. Childbirth, it's a little difficult, but don't worry. A little difficult. Nah, don't worry, mate. You'll be right.
I know, if you didn't know, if you've got a bad fortune, you're supposed to tie it up and put it on here. Yeah, that's where all the bad fortunes go. Afterwards, we split up and I led Alexander to a shrine that I had not yet visited in Kyoto yet. It's called the Kafune Shrine, and it is one of the most tranquil and quietest shrines in Kyoto, or supposedly it is. It's probably because it takes an hour and a half to get there from Kyoto Station. The shrines in Kyoto are great, don't get me wrong, but they're often so busy with tourists it's hard to get a deep appreciation for them. So the idea of a quiet yet beautiful shrine was definitely appealing. Our journey there had us walking through some of the quietest villages I had ever come across in Japan, and also some of the cleanest air I had tasted in years. We soon arrived at the shrine, and it was quite the sight to behold. The legend of the shrine tells a story of a goddess who travelled all the way from Osaka up the river into the mountains. The shrine was built where her boat journey had ended, and hence the shrine is dedicated to the god of water and rain. You've surely seen photos of these lanterns before. They're incredibly popular and well known, particularly when they're covered in snow. I had hoped it would have snowed here, but it seemed the gods were not on my side this day. Or any day, actually. know how to translate your name. It's katakana.
Gonna get.
Yeah, I don't. It's so difficult. Because it's a lot easier in katakana to translate if it's vowel, consonant,
Yeah.
like an Italian name.
Whereas
But
when
Alexander's not Italian.
Yeah.
It's Greek, I think. Alexander. Okay. It's,
How high up we are? 332 meters.
We're still thermal viewing machine.
Well, these things.
For those who didn't know, I never had any desire to visit Japan prior to my first trip here 4 years ago. It wasn't until my parents took me here, to Kyoto, where I began to fall in love with the country. It wasn't Osaka or even Tokyo that began my love for Japan. It was actually Kyoto, and for that reason this city will always have a special place within me. Walking through these temples, these streets, it really does feel like exploring Kyoto hundreds of years ago. But it also felt like stepping back to my first trip here, and where it all began.